can remember having a record deal and being broke and going to Puff and being like, yo, Sheri's about to go back home and work at Walmart, like, this shit.
Cheri Dennis, an R&B voice whose career could have much more than what it's turned out to be, Sheri's been through it in this music business. From her Cleveland roots and a super supportive fam to the crazy ride of the music biz, Sheri's journey is not crazy surprising or shocking. We've heard this story a million times. The music industry is not for the weak. Ever curious about the behind-the-scenes drama at Bad Boy Records or how a KR track can get buried under label politics? We've got the juicy deets on Sheri's wild ride, her struggles, and how she's coming back stronger with a brand new vibe.
I lived with my dad and my stepmom. My dad is my best friend. He raised me. I'm his only.
Growing up in Cleveland was pretty chill and middle class for her. She lived with her dad and stepmom, who was like her BFF, and totally had her back. Music was always a big deal at home. She'd dig through vinyl records and just vibe out. Her dad noticed her passion for singing and decided to give her a special 12th birthday gift, a trip to a recording studio with her bestie. There, they were scouting for new talent for a girl group called Spoiled. From ages 12 to 16, she was part of Spoiled. It was a great way for her to get better at singing and songwriting, but it also showed her that being in a group wasn't her thing. The drama and jealousy among the girls made her realize she was better off flying solo. She learned a lot, but it was clear solo artist life was calling her.
There can be a lot of jealousy, and from that point on, it really made me be like, okay, this whole group thing is probably not like, my path.
After leaving the girl group, she set her sights on New York and started hustling hard. She met Jimmy Cozier, who told her to come to the city and try to land a record deal. So she packed up and moved to NYC at 18, living out of a bag and crashing at Jimmy's place. By 19, she was officially signed to a record deal. Her big break came when she met Diddy at a birthday party thrown by Jimmy. Diddy was charming, and she ended up freestyling over the music playing at the club. A few weeks later, Diddy invited her to Daddy's house and handed her a Bad Boy jacket. She was starstruck, living her dream at the label that made the music she loved, like Total and Biggie. It felt like a magical moment, and she was beyond excited to be joining a label she admired.
Wow, like I'm about to be signed to this label where not only I get to live out my dreams, but I'm at a place where I admire the artist.
She hadn't quite wrapped her head around the music biz and how it all worked yet. It was a bit of a wild ride. Her track, So Complete, was one of her faves and had the potential to be a major hit. At the time, Bad Boy was buzzing with new artists like G. Depp and Loon, and she was the standout girl on the roster. She felt like So Complete had real star power, and if it had been pushed right, her career might have taken a different turn. She still feels a bit overlooked about that record. It seemed like they didn't do enough to promote it, and the whole situation felt like she was caught in the politics of the industry. Despite getting opportunities and living her best life, she was frustrated by how her projects seemed to be on the back burner. It's tough when you're getting hype from everyone else but not getting the support you need from the label. She recalls having a record deal but still being totally broke. At one point, her friend Marjorie even had to go to the label and tell Puff Daddy that she was about to head back home and work at Walmart. It was getting serious. So, the label finally cut her a big check, but before that, she was struggling to get by, questioning how she could have a record deal but still be living paycheck to paycheck. New York City's living costs were no joke. Still isn't, to be honest.
I can remember having a record deal and being broke and going to Puff and being like, yo, Sheri's about to go back home and work at Walmart, like, this shit.
Thankfully, once Bad Boy started giving her a monthly stipend, she didn't have to worry about working a regular job. Meeting Ryan Leslie was a bit of a cringe fest at first. She admits she came off pretty cocky about the music and might have rubbed him the wrong way. Looking back, she realizes she might have misjudged him. After all, Ryan Leslie was kind of a big deal, you know. When they were itching to drop new music, they went to Puff Daddy with their track I Love You, but he wasn't feeling it. So they decided to take matters into their own hands. They got Rich Dollaz from Bad Boy involved and teamed up with Ryan Leslie to press their own vinyl. They started pushing their track in clubs, and DJs picked it up. That buzz eventually caught Puff's attention. They had to hustle and make things happen on their own because, let's be real, they weren't always getting the support they needed.
Come on.
The I Love You music video turned into a bit of a mess thanks to wardrobe drama and clashes with Puff Daddy. The stylist, Marnie, was awesome and had picked out some great outfits. But on the shoot day, Puff had other plans. He made them switch things up, airbrush out her tattoos, and even tweak her look. She had this cool bob haircut and was rocking a pink outfit, but Puff nixed it and had her swap to a super safe, eggshell-colored nail polish. In the end, the sweatsuit look against the wall was the most true to her style. She describes herself as the ultimate girly tomboy, and that outfit was probably the best way to show it. When I Love You dropped, it definitely made waves, but it was a bit of a weird experience. She wasn't into the fame game. Actually, it made her feel pretty awkward. She hated how everything was so scripted. You had to look a certain way, act a certain way, and if you didn't, it was like an open invite for criticism. At Bad Boy, this clash became a real issue. She was always the quirky, tattooed, fun-loving type, which didn't fit the sweet R&B girl image they had for her. This led to a lot of creative differences with Puff Daddy. She wanted to express herself her own way, but the label's marketing team had a very specific vision. Plus, she wasn't into the whole songwriting factory approach. She preferred her art to be more organic, not just another piece churned out by a group of writers. The whole process felt too impersonal, and it clashed with how she wanted to create her music. So there was this song that Diddy might have been eyeing for J-Lo, and it had a vibe that felt a bit J-Lo-ish. She wasn't too sure about the whole situation, especially since she didn't vibe with the track. It was a Faith Evans song called I Love You, and honestly, she just couldn't stand it. After the first I Love You, she was over the whole love theme and really didn't want to sing it. Diddy handed the track over to J-Lo, and looking back, she didn't regret it. The song just wasn't her style. She even felt that J-Lo's version didn't do much for the album it was on. Then came the Portrait of Love single. She wasn't into it either. It felt like pulling teeth to get through it. And she tried to drag her feet hoping they'd drop it, but no luck. Diddy insisted she keep working on it. On top of that, she was dealing with personal issues and feeling pretty self-conscious about her weight. The outfits and choreography felt off, and she just wasn't comfortable with the whole setup. The choreography, a total mess, and she barely had time to get it down. Watching the Portrait of Love video now, she finds it cringy and awkward, and she really doesn't enjoy revisiting it.
See you at the corner of my eye when you're walking by.
So, Cheri Dennis wasn't exactly thrilled with her album In and Out of Love. She felt like it was a bit of a mess, a mix of old tracks and new ones that just didn't flow together. It was like they threw everything on there without a solid game plan. Some songs that were way past their prime made the cut, while others that should have been included didn't make it. She wanted to make music that pushed boundaries and maybe made people a little uncomfortable. She aimed to be that standout artist with a unique style, tattoos, bold hair colors, and all. Instead, she found herself stuck in a frustrating situation where she saw others taking creative risks that she'd pitched but were shot down. It was like fighting a battle on two fronts, against the industry's expectations and her own team. Diddy's response was basically a "don't worry, I've got this" vibe. He was all about the patience game, saying he knew what he was doing and how to make stars. But for Cheri, it felt like a tough road with her vision not fully supported.
You had to look a certain way, be a certain way, talk a certain way. And if you stepped outside of that, it was like open season.
She has had her fair share of ups and downs, but she's always been real about it. Despite any drama with Diddy, she's not here to trash him. She appreciates the chance he gave her and the cash flow that kept coming in. Sure, she felt sidelined at times, but she's not about to badmouth someone who helped her out. She's got some regrets, though. Looking back, she wishes she'd spent more time with her family and friends instead of being wrapped up in the music grind. She missed out on a lot of personal moments while she was chasing the music dream. Now that she's had her daughter, things feel different. She's found a new purpose and motivation that's off the charts. Cheri's project with Mellow X, X times Coke, was a game changer for her. It let her unleash her creativity without sticking to the usual music rules. Working with Mellow X gave her that freedom she'd been craving. She also worked with MGK, but didn't get the collab she hoped for, which left her feeling a bit slighted. After a much-needed break and a move back home, Sheri's ready to reconnect with her roots and perform again. She's excited about the R&B showcase and grateful for the love she's still getting. Even if the mainstream scene hasn't always been kind, her passion for music remains unshaken.